Maybe Hassan Miraz. And also, when it comes to the bowling attack, I still feel Taskin Ahmed should have been given the new ball in the morning, especially. Not yesterday. Understand, just 7 overs coming to the spin. But this morning, could have done.
So that has pushed the captain to use Saif, who is nowhere close, with all due respect to him, nowhere close to a test class off spinner. He's more of a part-time who would come on and bowl a few overs. So you would expect your main bowlers bowling on this surface. It's dry, it's responding, can get something out of it. But Bangladesh has gone the other way.
Going through the motion, aren't they? Just wait until a batsman does a mistake and get out. But not letting things happen. That's how the Sri Lankans have showed the intent. We talk about intent, approach. This man on screen now has been an integral part right throughout the series. Let cut Mushir Rahim. Oh, that's a good stop. Very good stop by the...
.92 for 3. Dhananjay De Silva and Karunaratne moving quickly. A partnership of 53 of 58 balls, which is excellent in terms of the runs and the rate that Sri Lanka are looking at. Going at exactly 4 runs and over. Taijul will continue. Bangladesh needs their best spinners on this pitch. Should be looking to dismiss batsmen rather than allow them to score runs freely at the moment. Sri Lankans look comfortable. And shots like that, the left hand, right hand combination will always pose a challenge to a spin bowler. And Dimut Karunaratne is a completely different proposition to what Dhananjay does. Dhananjay waits, late cuts, goes over the top. Karunaratne looks to sweep and cut. Plays a lot on the leg side, plays with the turn, so it's a challenge. Important that the spinners rise to the occasion. He's an experienced bowler, Taijul. Short leg, short mid-wicket. He'll keep doing that all the time. Bowl on midland leg, he'll just keep working you.
Defensive line for sure. Taijul into his 11th over. Picked up a couple of wickets. Go, pitching midland leg, turning even to the leg side. There's no chance of an LBW. Patted down, patted. Looks more than 4 feet in front. Thinking. No, not really. Not interested. Lanka definitely dictating terms at the moment. Try to see the replay there. Then De Silva not offering a stroke, patting it away. Looked far ahead, but you never know with DRS. Again, that behind the pad. Very interesting to see whether this time Captain Momin is going to take that. Not really, not interested again. I think too far in front. Too far in front for sure. Yeah, spinning as well. Definitely missing.
Much better over from Taijul, at least to the right-hander. He's attacked Dhananjay De Silva with a good variety. He's looked to dismiss him, which is good, rather than bowling that defensive line. He's kept that mid-wicket area deliberately open to try and get him to play against the turn. That went through with the arm. 94 for 3.
Enjoy your strong dose of morning coffee with Roman's Extra Strong Superman Punch. WWE Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. Now live at 5:30 a.m. Only on TSports Network.
It's coming home.
बेटा इस बार भी तेरे को बाहर ना हम ही निकालेंगे.
It's time to take sides as we get up for Europe's biggest footballing spectacle. So which is your dusri country? The UEFA Euro 2020 starts 12th June on Sony Sports Network.
336 runs now the lead. Sri Lanka got 7 wickets standing. Saif will continue. It's been a pretty warm day. It's a humid day at Palikale. Not the most pleasant day to be out there, I can tell you. Short leg and slip.
That's what you're talking about. More than 3 meters. No, yeah.
Come on, Saif.
Good call by the umpire. Short extra cover field is back in. See Russell Domingo, head coach Otis Gibson, fast bowling coach of Bangladesh team. Well spread out field, deep mid, long on, deep square leg, sweeper.
Easy as you like, just knocking it into gaps. Sri Lanka won't be complaining. They would try and pick up every possible run. Boundaries will always be a bonus, but you get a single off. If 4 singles and over, they've done their job. Left hand on strike. Outside the line, well outside the line.
Way outside the line. Saif Hassan, more hopeful. Umpire Richard Colligan not interested at all. Premeditated. Off the glove as well. I like the way the pace Saif Hassan is bowling. Something similar to Praveen. Much slower, not that one. But batsman still waiting for delivery and having a lot of time to think. Most of the time, the batsman could put off.
He can still be useful. He can still get you a wicket. But my point is, if it is a choice between Mehdi Hassan and Saif, I would rather go with Mehdi and back him to bowl that out. Easy single. 3 runs off that over. It's 97 for 3. And it's time for some drinks.
The UEFA Champions League is brought to you by Heineken and Pepsi Black, UEFA Champions League sponsors.
Michael Chandler is a savage with knockout power.
Let's go get that title.
Charles Oliveira, the longest active undefeated win streak in the UFC. This man is super dangerous.
I'm back. I'm here to fight.
Nate Diaz is one of the biggest superstars in the sport.
Leon Edwards is incredible. England's best hope for a UFC champion.
Sold out event. Here we come, Houston.
Watch UFC 262 live on Sony 10.2 and Sony 10.3.
There is a new phenomenon that has gripped the world. It is taking the London residents by surprise.
जब खेल के सबसे बड़े मंच पे हमारे खिलाड़ी उतरेंगे तो सारे जहां में सिर्फ यही गूंजेगा। ओलंपिक गेम्स टोक्यो 2020 सिर्फ सोनी के स्पोर्ट्स चैनल्स पर।
It's coming home. बेटा इस बार भी तेरे को बाहर ना हम ही निकालेंगे।
It's time to take sides as we get up for Europe's biggest footballing spectacle. So which is your दूसरी country? The UEFA Euro 2020 starts 12th June on Sony Sports Network.
The Sri Lankan lead extended to 339 runs. This morning, been 18 overs, got 80 runs, lost a wicket. Going at around 4 runs and over. That would be the initial target. Aruna Ratna has been absolutely marvellous. He's had such a wonderful series, and he carries on with those lovely looking shots all around the ground. He's got the deft touches. He is powerful backward of square. He's going to tonk the balls away, play the sweep shots. He's got it all, an array of delightful shots from the skipper, and he's led from the front and has taken his tally to the highest position, 420. Look at that average, 210. Tamim Iqbal follows well behind at 256. Thirimanne has got 200 and Mominul 199, but Dimut Karunaratne, marvellous. Top-class performance for his team. Well, it's just had a little bit of a rest, and the drinks interval just been completed. It's hot and muggy out there. Tough ask, but he's been so serene in his approach, not been troubled at all by the bowlers or the weather for that matter. A lot of hard work for the Bangladeshi bowlers. Russ, what do you reckon? How is this going to go now?
Well, this is the third innings and the fourth day, but the Sri Lankans seem to have got a lot more turn. The second innings would mean that's the innings that Bangladesh batted, and that was on the third day. So would that have something to do with the pace the bowlers are bowling at, the trajectory? These type of things do play a part in what you get out of the pitch.
Indeed, very, very clear with that graphic that initially maybe not enough turn out of the wicket on the first day when they're bowling, but once you got the turns, the 4.7 degree average turn created by the Sri Lankan bowlers gives you a clear indication that the Bangladeshi bowlers are not really trying to loop it up, not trying to find the roughs. In the last couple of overs prior to the drinks interval, seen some good, tight, accurate bowling, but use of the roughs, being a little bit more with the flights, enticement of the batsman has been missing.
Bottom edge, more runs, 4 of them. 100 comes up for Sri Lanka. What you say is directly related to the state of the game. And with Sri Lanka scoring runs like this, that lead getting bigger, Bangladesh would obviously be in a defensive frame of mind, trying to slow the Sri Lankan scoring rate down, and hence not totally looking for wickets. There are hardly any catchers, just that short leg in place. That's the difference. Yesterday when Sri Lanka were on top in the field, there were 3-4 fielders right around the bat. So the state of the game is dictating what Bangladesh are doing right now.
Well, I suppose they've made themselves come into this kind of a position. Wouldn't you say fall of a wicket would stem the flow of runs, the new batsman in? So after the first wicket went down today. Just didn't see that attitude. Go for another one. One gets to kind of thinking, if you see what I mean.
They went negative very, very quickly. When Dhananjay De Silva came in, they had a few players around, but on the other hand, Karunaratne was very aggressive. He was looking to take it to the bowlers. That immediately pushed Bangladesh onto the back foot. Sometimes you need to stick in there longer. We were talking about 400 runs. That's what Sri Lanka were talking about. And that first hour and 15 minutes has really pushed them into a strong position. They scored 80 runs in 18 overs in that little period. Tight. But Karunaratne's home. With another hour for lunch, at this rate, they should be 400, 420 ahead by lunch. Should have done better.
Indeed, the general consensus today before start of play was that Bangladesh need to just tighten up, bowl with a lot of discipline, and ensure that the Sri Lankans are not allowed to just go their merry way, make them work hard. That has not happened. Fortunately, a little bit of ragged bowling on occasions. Now you see the innovations coming through.
And again, the situation allows the Sri Lankan batsman to be free. Take a few chances. 104 for 3.
देखिए गुप्ता जी और मेहता जी की फैमिली जल्दी आ रही है सोनी के स्पोर्ट्स चैनल्स पर.
It's coming home.
बेटा इस बार भी तेरे को बाहर ना हम ही निकालेंगे.
It's time to take sides as we get up for Europe's biggest footballing spectacle. So which is your दूसरी country? The UEFA Euro 2020 starts 12th June on Sony Sports Network.
See the average speed of the spinners. It's pretty much similar in the second innings. That's when the degree of turn was 4.7.
Yeah, down to 80. Javikrama bowled a lot in the 70s. And that makes a difference. Sri Lanka got a lot more turn as we saw in the previous over. That graphic illustrated that. The speed. And the slower you bowl, that means you're using a little bit more flight too. And good spinners, or for a spinner to be really effective, that's important. So the speed, quite relative to the amount of turn you're getting.
I can understand the thought process of going defensive, as you mentioned. Thus, the dependency on accuracy, which they feel they can get. Well, there you go. That's tunked away. Just going to be beating that fielder there. Opening up their shoulders now.
Lead up to 350. Blow of confidence. So much in control. He's batting on off stumps so he can hit from outside the stumps and doesn't even bother to run. Fielders in the deep, he knew he'd bisected them.
It's a little surprised that Saif Hassan has been continuing the volley. Mehdi Hassan Miraj, much the more senior partner in the off-spinning department, not being used.
Well, he did have a spell this morning. Saif Hassan into his third over. Just could be just to change things around. Saif Hassan. Did I get that right? Reminds me of Danushka Gunatilaka. The bowling action. Sri Lanka's opening batsman. You'll probably see him in white ball format. A lot more than Test cricket. Yes, Mehdi Hassan had a spell of 6 overs from the far end, and since then that Saif Hassan's come in.
And he was a little erratic today, bowling those 6 overs. Not the usual Mehdi Hassan Miraj's accuracy. 32 runs came from those 6 overs. So understandably, Mominul Haq it was an enforced decision. But Saif Hassan has not really been able to trouble the batsman as such. Not that any of the bowlers have done so. lack of consistency and accuracy, unfortunate, has allowed the Sri Lankan batters to just freely play their game, pick and choose their shots. Oh, that's an appeal, and I think at last he's just got that one. He's elated against the run of play, taken sharply at forward shot.
Yasir Ali, brilliant pickup. It was straight off the bat. Karunaratne got a piece of that. But I mentioned when Angelo Matthews dismissed 2, it's very difficult to get it past Yasir Ali. He's a huge unit, the substitute fielder. Well, that's why he was brought on, to pick up wickets. He's picked up Karunaratne. He's made 66 and Sri Lanka are now 112 for 4.
The UEFA Champions League is brought to you by Heineken and Pepsi Black, UEFA Champions League sponsor.
Well, the skipper's gone for once. It's not been able to convert that to 3-figure mark, but surprised everyone. We were slightly wondering why he was bowling, but this is the result. Initially, he's played straight off the thighs, and then on the second opportunity, grab. See it again. Yasir Ali, the substitute, doing well. Elated with that effort.
Put the biggest guy you have in the team at short leg. Good luck hitting it past him. He's picked up 2 catches. Smartly taken.
Ask him to come. Ask him to come. Ask him to come. Rambo. Ask him to
But
come.
you know what? Now we look at stats. We got lots of stats. Now these are some for Pathum Nisanka.
Well, he's into his 4th match now. He's got 205 runs. It's coming at a time when the Sri Lankans are dictating terms, so he won't be under too much duress.
A 50 and 100 in the West Indies. You cried out for him, Shamim. You cried out for him. Here he is, Mehdi Hassan Miraj.
He has to come to the field.
That's a good change, I think. Maybe even, I mean, now that Saif Hassan has taken a wicket, he'll be persisted with from the other end. Maybe the left-hander gone, you've got to have your office in.
Well, another delay because Yasir Ali has to now leave the field because Shoriful Islam's coming on. So he's got to take off his pads, but he's done a great job. He's picked up 2 catches. There are Angelo Matthews and Karunaratne. Now we're talking about stats. Unfortunately for Yasir Ali, it's not going to count in his numbers in his career because catches picked up as a substitute are not going to be recorded in his career stats.
That's unfortunate, but wouldn't you rather have him instead of Shariful coming back in? Take a few more catches.
I'm with you. I hear you. Shariful's not been bowling either.
A little pause in play because of that, and
you need another short leg fielder. He's got to get his protective gear on. That's the delay we are having right now. And how about that? The biggest unit in the squad replaced by the smallest unit. It's a skipper, isn't it?
well, not often that you see the skipper coming and taking a position at short leg, but he's there. Maybe that he's got to be down there. The center of gravity is much lower. If it comes quickly low to you, get a chance to grab it.
But by what we've seen this morning, getting in the way of a shot is a lot more productive. I remember Ricky Ponting used to stand at silly mid-off, never came into short leg, but whenever they needed that extra field on the offside, he would do that. Tony Gregg. One of the captains going down memory lane.
Normally, you would have your youngest player in the team. Saifa-san has done a lot of free fielding at silly point and forward short leg.
Well, in the days that we played, we had our better fielders around the bat at slip, silly mid-off, short leg. We had Murli. For almost all those games, you always felt safe. Has he done any damage to himself? Mehdi Hassan Miraj, he ran after that and tried to get the slide out. I think he's got his knee stuck in the turf.
Oh, this is going to be unfortunate. Just there, yeah, you're right. That can be very painful. Oh, the agony. Oh dear, I hope it's nothing serious. See that expression on his face is really in a spot of bother.
He's got in a big tangle. Get stuck. Normally you expect it to slide on with you. That's not nice. Oh boy, oh boy. 4 wickets have fallen in the Sri Lankan innings. Thirimana got a peach from Mehdi. Chanto smart in the slips. Basically have to play at that. It's a newish ball. You're thinking most deliverers have come on with the arm, so you're covering the stumps, but that turns. 3 overs to the close. Oshida Fernando, this was a third day pitch and the ball spinning. It's not the first day's pitch where you could just hit through the line. This morning, Matthews, Yasir Ali, smartly picked up. And just now, straight off the bat, gets himself in the way, Yasir Ali. That's the 4 that Bangladesh have picked up so far.
Well, they'll want some more wickets. We've got a friend just outside there.
This drone has the habit of hovering around your windows, your hotel room window. Now it's just out here.
Well, that gives us wonderful pictures, doesn't it? And the cameraman up there?
Tex, Rohita, and Lal. I enjoyed their running commentary last evening. I just went up there. The press box up there. Some of our friends, well, usually it's really full.
Magnificent facilities, I must say. Very impressive. Press boxes upstairs from us, the media facilities, all the other facilities. You can see the corporate boxes on the other side of the ground, the lovely grassy banks here at the Pallekele International Stadium. And it's been very, very impressive. It's lovely sights all around. Very picturesque ground. Only thing missing, the crowd. It's a pity, but sincerely hope the pandemic eases off and the crowds come back into the grounds, really enjoy. But he's not enjoying it. It's a spot of bother, to say the least.
Yasir Ali can come back on the field. That's a positive for Bangladesh. Nick Lee, John Lewis, now with the Bangladesh team, former support staff of Sri Lanka. Nick Lee was the physical trainer. John Lewis was the batting coach. There's quite a bit of Sri Lankan influence in the Bangladesh system. The under-19 coach was my teammate here at under-19. Actually was our vice captain in our under-19 team of 1993. Naveed Nawaz led Bangladesh under-19 to the championship. Chaminda Vas, Ravindra Pushpakumar, we all featured in the one team. I think he has a 78 not out when Sri Lanka declared in a test match against Bangladesh.
Well, some of those names, maybe some of them will be playing in that charity match coming up. But even if they're not playing, their hearts will be with that match because it's for a wonderful cause.
Well, Mehdi's still on the park. Good. And he bowls even better. The speed slower. Lovely loop.
That's what is required at the moment.
Maybe that knee is restricting him a bit, but that's allowing his arm to go over nicely. Again.
Nice work. That's what we've been all crying for. Just the loop, the effort to extract more turn.
You spoke of facilities here, practice facilities at the back there, and more coming up next to the nets at the back. There'll be nets with floodlights, which allows you to practice at night. A dormitory to house at least 50 players from the outstation so that the training can happen here. A swimming pool. So lots of plans that Lanka Cricket have around not only Pallekele. Try and make it a lot easier for those who come out here, train and better their game.
Well done. Good over for Mehdi Hasan Miraj. It's 115 for 4.
No one could do it better.
It's time to take sides as we gear up for Europe's biggest sporting spectacle. So whose side are you on? The UEFA Euro 2020 starts 11th June 2021, live and exclusive
on Sony Sports Network.
The Mahaveli River, Sri Lanka's longest. Mahaveli Ganga in Sinhalese, as they call it, and in Tamil, Mahaveli R. Mahaveli, the Great Sandy River. Goes out to the sea. Trincomalee and flows through the drier parts of Sri Lanka.
I haven't really noticed any riverine traffic as such on this river. I don't know if you have it in other rivers around Sri Lanka. Bangladesh depends a lot on riverine traffic. Where, you know, lots of rivers around, but I have not really noticed any boats of any sort on that river the last few days we've been here.
Make a great observation.
Bangladesh rivers are very wide. Some people have a misconception. You know, you can't see from bank to bank. The Padma River, which is Padda River, the Ganges, which flows in.
But we're amongst the hills, so lots of slopes. Really doesn't suit that. Winding around.
I've noticed some speedboats for, I think, tourists on the Candy Lake.
Yes, just where we are.
The use of the feet. Now, there's been a little bit of a comeback here by the bowlers from the last over and continuation of that from Tajul Islam in this over. Just 5-dot balls. He wants to finish it with another dot.
Yeah, they've changed ends to main spinners for Bangladesh. 3:57 the lead. Another 45 minutes to lunch. Sri Lanka will be keeping an eye on that. 400 is kind of the number that they're after. 115 for 4.
Michael Chandler is a savage with knockout power.
Let's go get that title. Charles Oliveira.
The longest active win streak in the UFC. This man is super dangerous.
I'm back. I'm here to fight.
Nate Diaz is one of the biggest superstars in the sport.
Leon Edwards is incredible. England's best hope for a UFC champion.
Sold out event. Here we come, Houston.
Watch UFC 262 live on Sony 10-2 and Sony 10-3.
Well, it's going to be Mehdi Hasan to continue. Thankfully, he did land very hard while trying to field a ball in the previous over. His comeback looked to be quite hurtful, but eventually recovered. in use of the feet. That's been the tendency the last few overs to get a move on here by the Sri Lankan batters.
Well, uphill task for Bangladesh here. A lot of time left in this test match, and you hope those clouds stay away, Shamim. Been looking for them for a long time. The forecast, of course, has a few storms here and there.
There's a fallacy here. I have not been looking for them. It was the weather forecasters who have been predicting, and they were wrong. So when you come in and you see the weather forecast, you expect to reflect what the forecasters are saying. So it's not me asking for it.
In the distance, that's more towards the Hunasgiri end. Hunasgiri Mountains behind us in the press box. That's closer to Asgiria. Asgiria Stadium is in that direction, and Kandy Town as well.
That's where cricket used to be played before, if I'm not wrong, before they moved here to Pallekele.
Before 2010, yes.
Right.
That's it. Down the ground he goes. Tamim's there. Tamim will watch it go over his head.
Oh, what a bold shot. They needed to get a move on. They've been trying to shimmy down the wicket and get to the pitch of the ball. On this occasion, really latched onto it. Dhananjay De Silva, look at that. Getting to the pitch and tonking it away.
Yep, there was a fielder at long on, but he takes him on. Good blow. Into the 40s now, Dhananjay De Silva. There are various different hobbies that people do have around the world. In England, it's big bus spotting, train spotting. You get people sitting around writing every number. Edge gone. Straight on to Lytton Das's legs, and it bounces up for Najmul Hassan Shanto. Dhananjay De Silva goes.
Well, another wicket, and that I felt was maybe the ball that was going on with the arm. He's trying to make room. Did it turn? Don't think so. Held its line, maybe a hint, and deflected off the thighs, and good reflexes. Well, it wasn't that difficult eventually. And another wicket. He is happy. He's worked very hard. And another wicket down. Dhananjay De Silva, 41. It's 124 for 5.
It's time to take sides as we gear up for Europe's biggest sporting spectacle. So whose side are you on? The UEFA Euro 2020 starts 11th June 2021, live and exclusive
on Sony Sports Network.
One, 2, 4 for 5. Sri Lankan lead extended to 366 runs. Bangladesh have pegged back well, getting the wickets today. Brings in Niroshan Dikwala, and now he will have his ideas about getting on, because he has a decent average and it's got 1850s. He can, at this point in time, you'll expect him to really do some innovation.
There was no one behind square on the offside, and he was looking to play it into that area. Unfortunately, played it too well, Dhananjay De Silva. Batted well for that 41. Niroshan Dikwala, 77 not out in the first innings. Sri Lanka declared within 23 short of 100, a maiden test 100, which not been able to get there as yet. Very, very consistent and been contributing very nicely for Sri Lanka. So going back to those hobbies, the train spotting, the bus spotting. We know some who have hobbies as bird watching. And listening to you, you've given me the impression yours is cloud spotting.
Wrong. It's plane watching. I love. This has been my hobby since 1969.
So just like the others who write down numbers or keep track of what's going on, or the numbers of the buses, trains. Is there a logbook or something?
No, I didn't keep a logbook, but I'll tell you something. When I was in England, every opportunity I had to go to Heathrow Airport, and there are not too many security concerns in those days. We'll come back to that. As we complete the over, it's 124 for 5.
There is a new phenomenon that has gripped the world. It is taking the London residents by surprise.
जब खेल के सबसे बड़े मंच पे हमारे खिलाड़ी उतरेंगे तो सारे जहां में सिर्फ यही गूंजेगा। ओलंपिक गेम्स टोक्यो 2020 सिर्फ सोनी के स्पोर्ट्स चैनल्स पर।
Intriguing test match, 493 posted by Sri Lanka. Bangladesh folding for 251, not imposing the follow-on. Sri Lanka carrying on. Moving on to 124 for 5. A lead now of 366. Right behind that, there's a lot more spirit in the Bangladeshi bowling now.
So tell us about this plane spotting or whatever.
Well, as I said, every opportunity I got when there was a chance to see someone off, there was a place in Heathrow in those days where you're allowed a spectator area where you could go up and watch the planes come in, take off, land, and come into the aprons. And they had a microphone of sorts, a speaker. Oh, it's up in there, tantalizingly close, but not to hand.
Off the mark, Pathum Nissanka. That ball needed to fly high like a plane, but didn't.
Yeah, just evading the diving fielder.
That's Medias and Miraj, so he's got up and he's looking well, so that would obviously mean good news on that knee. How long would you spend watching planes? A day? 2 days?
No, maybe for a couple of hours. But the best part was there was a speaker, and you could actually hear the broadcast, the pilots talking to the control towers, and you'd know which planes were coming in and taking off. It's intriguing. It's very interesting.
It does sound. If you can hear the pilots, that's hit well. 4. If Tamim doesn't get in the way, but he does.
Back up, back up.
You're hoping for a 4 there. It didn't work. Tamim got in the way. Sorry, Russell.
And when are we talking? 1960?
69, 70. Were you around then?
No, not yet.
Just making a few adjustments in the field. You can hear Liton Dash asking the long off fielder to go a little wider. Good riposte, good comeback here by Bangladesh after being a little erratic with the lines and lengths. Taken the wickets and they've got the tails up. They've managed to stem the flow of runs, and that's imperative. Take the wickets, the scoring tends to go down. Good fight back by the Bangladeshi boys in the middle. Make it as difficult as you can for the batters. Make them wait for the declaration. 127 for 5.
It's time to take sides as we gear up for Europe's biggest sporting spectacle. So whose side are you on? The UEFA Euro 2020 starts 11th June 2021, live and exclusive
on Sony Sports Network.
127 for 5. Sri Lanka has been consistent with their rate of scoring. The 369 runs ahead at the moment. The off-spinner continues. Dickwella, just in, he's made 1 of 3, and Nissanka has been taking his time, and that's his style of batting. Morning, Amir.
Yes, still morning. It's a good one. Oh, I was so hoping the declaration should have come by now. Have a crack at the Bangladeshi batsman just before lunch. 5 overs. I don't know why they're delaying it. In my opinion, by delaying the declaration, they're admitting and they're telling the Bangladeshi batsman, are you good enough in these conditions for 350 runs? That's why they're trying to get a cushion of more, 50 runs more. Don't know. I think Sri Lanka have the resources to pack up the fourth innings of Bangladeshi team in this test match. 250, given the conditions.
I certainly agree that the Sri Lankan resources are good enough, but it's quite apparent to all of us that Sri Lanka just wants to make sure that they get into a situation of comfort, and they're looking at around 400, around that score. So that appears to be, to me, the plan. Speaking to Chaminda Vas early in the morning, even he said that they're looking at 400 because, let's face it, there's a lot of time left in the game.
And what about the forecast? It's not that good. So you need some sort of an insurance, time-wise, to be able to pick up 10 wickets.
Yeah, but the forecast is something I'm sure these guys can't control. I mean, they just got to play with what they have.
I totally agree, but you can control here. Well, anyways, the decision has been made by the captain. That's where he's comfortable with. And let's see how the things pan out. By declaring at this point of time, he could have made a huge statement to the Bangladeshi batsman. Oh, these runs are more than enough. We're going to get you out. But by delaying it, telling the Bangladeshi batsman, you know, we are scared. We want to get to a safety zone. Not right. 131 for 1.
The pistol shooter, who aimed at nothing but gold. Such a big achievement in such a small age. पर इनके इरादे बिल्कुल छोटे नहीं हैं, क्योंकि इनकी नजर सिर्फ टारगेट पे रहती है. Yes, that's मनु भाकर. आप इन्हें जानते होंगे, पर कुछ हफ्तों बाद सारा जहां इन्हें जानेगा. हिंदुस्तान देख रहा है एक ही ख्वाब, हम होंगे कामयाब.
Olympic Games Tokyo 2020.
Think tank hasn't done their homework. They haven't gleaned the information. Bangladesh, in their history of test match cricket, been able to chase only 3 times. Yeah, their highest run chase was in St. George's, 2009, where they scored 215. That's the highest. And I'll rest my case about the declaration.
And that 191 was an excellent chase. I remember that. But only win for Bangladesh against Sri Lanka. They drew the series. See, I mean, I understand where you're coming from. I do understand about the Sri Lankan resources and the ability to challenge the batsman, give them a strong message.
Yeah, at times you have to play the mind games. Not only against Bangladesh, but you are sending a message to other teams who are competing at this level. We are becoming good. We are gaining confidence. .377 were chased against Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, that was 2015. Pakistan was able to do that. Now the lead is 375. So I think they have to score 378 to get out that psychological barrier. I'm just only kidding. It's the team tactics. We have to wait and see how pans out. But the thing is, I was trying to urge the captain of Sri Lanka to declare it now and try and pick up 10 wickets so we don't have to come tomorrow.
Very valid point. Now you're talking.
See, that was the be-all and end-all of that debate. A rest day would have been handy.
You made your case very strongly, Amir. Now there is a very strong case to support your thinking.
Thank you, Roshan. I always believed in you. I know you're a friend. You'll tag along with me. End of the over. 133 for 5.
Michael Chandler is a savage with knockout power.
Let's go get that title. Charles Oliveira.
The longest active win streak in the UFC.
This man is super dangerous.
I'm back. I'm here to fight.
Nate Diaz is one of the biggest superstars in the sport.
Leon Edwards is incredible. England's best hope for a UFC champion.
Sold out event. Here we come, Houston.
Watch UFC 262 live on Sony 10.2 and Sony 10.3.
Well, Pakistan have done it twice. Sharjah and in Palikale. Sharjah chase was magnificent. 7-wicket win. And it was done in 2 sessions, much against the odds. Runs through extra cover. Just a touch short from round the wicket. Couple of runs to Pathum Nissanka.
Yeah, the lead is 377 runs now. Need one more to cross that psychological barrier.
Not in control. Just chipping it into the gap at extra cover.
Yeah, the intention was to hit the ball through covers. That's why he was backing away from the leg stump. But the bowler followed him, got cramped, but did well to hit the ball into the gap. Nissanka got 2 runs for that effort.
I think he opened the face slightly. He was aware that the bowler was following him. He had committed too far. Much better option, much safer option. With that ball going down the leg side. Nissanka was deceived somewhat as he was looking to play it away on the onside. And there you are, you could see that he just looks to open the face deliberately, which is good thinking because he was fired at the leg stump. He was cramped at that point for room, so that was the option. With extra cover area open, Nissanka just getting away with it.
Yeah, at times, if you premeditate, just with one option, you actually get exposed. But if you leave 1 or 2 options for yourself as a batsman, you always have the chance to prevail. Three 81 runs is the lead now. That's in the air, into the gap, and 4 runs. That's a beautiful hit. Deliberately placed the ball away from that fieldsman at mid-on. That excellent batting. Shows how talented this batsman is.
Very straight because mid-on was wide. So the spot was taken correctly. Not a great follow-up delivery, just firing it in touch short, but a big over. 11 runs, 144 for 5. So these are the highest chases recorded in Sri Lanka. Zimbabwe set a target of 388 and Sri Lanka got there. Roshan Dikwella did get runs in that game, and that was a really steep chase. It was pretty tough, but it was a very creditable win for the Sri Lankans. In the gap, he is picking his spots now. Again, Taijul dropping it short, and Pathum Nisanka now starting to expand with his stroke play.
Yeah, that's a problematic thing for the bowlers when a batsman with a short height arrives at the crease. They have to do a lot of adjustments. At the moment, the left armour hasn't been able to do so. It was only tad short, and that was more than enough for Nisanka to rock back on the back foot and take full advantage. That's better. Worked away nicely against the turn.
Sri Lanka on course. They're going at more than 4 runs and over. The lead now 391. Initial plan was 400. Will they go beyond 400? Will they want to bat till lunch and declare immediately after lunch? Those are some interesting thoughts, questions.
Well, you got the inside information, Roshan. You said it very confidently. They are on course. In the air, but in the gap. Pushing for 2 to get them easily. I think the captain has shared his plans with you. Admit it.
I'm only saying what Chaminda Was said in the morning when Russell spoke to him. So I merely picked up from him.
No. I know you've been gathering information. Go on. Be forthcoming. He should be happy, Chaminda Was. He was given a role for this series. And he's been able to guide the bowlers properly and thoroughly. And the pitch is a bit more lively. The faster bowlers could have impressed many. Nevertheless, he did a good job. He should be considered permanently for this job, don't you think? 152 for 5.
തീർച്ചയായും നെതർലാൻഡിന് ജയിക്കൂടാ. ഞാനല്ല പറയുന്നത്, നെതർലാൻഡ് ജയിക്കാൻ സാധ്യതയുള്ളൂ. തീർച്ചയാണ്.
It's time to take sides as we gear up for Europe's biggest sporting spectacle. So whose side are you on? The UEFA Euro 2020
on Sony Sports Network.
152 for 5. Now the lead 394. Saif Hassan continues. He comes on from the opposite end. He did get that big wicket of Mutkan Ratne. It was a sharp chance, but still, he did the job for his captain. 20 minutes to go for lunch. Spread out field. Looking to loop it. Yeah, on the subject of Chaminda Was, I think it's a great decision to have him. And being a legend of the 1996 team, World Cup winning team, and what he's achieved as a cricketer for Sri Lanka, been tireless. He's toiled on difficult pitches, and he's come out on tops. He's been the great ally to Muthaiya Muralidharan when they played and formed a good partnership, and it is great to have someone with his caliber, with his knowledge.
Yeah, he was a smart operator, Chaminda Was. Didn't have express pace, but he had that movement of the surface and also in the air, and then those slow ones, those variations took him far. highest wicket taker as far as the fast bowlers are concerned in Sri Lanka. 355. 400 wickets. His presence in the dressing room, it's itself a motivation.
Yeah, what a phenomenal record for Chaminda Vaas, who did it all by himself in the seam bowling department. There was support. Muralidharan did his wicket taking, but it was all Chaminda Vaas as far as seam bowling was concerned. He had many partners, take nothing away from the rest, but this was the man who soldiered along and just did magnificently as a cricketer. And that's why cricketers like this are held in very high esteem. And the importance, as you correctly said, Amir, having the experience in the dressing room and being able to... It's about teaching players to handle situations, to be crafty. And of course, coaching is important, but it is about imparting one's experience.
He'll teach them the importance of being accurate. He'll tell them how to handle pressures, and the situations. At times, there are harrowing situations a player is faced with. How to stay calm in those situations. How to keep on plugging away with the job like TSports is. The team looking for quick runs is obliging the captain. Lead is 400 now, 160 for 5.
At least that's what we heard. That's been achieved. But with 15 minutes to go for lunch, it's quite obvious that the Sri Lankans will bat on till lunch. But what would they do after lunch? Would they want to bat for another hour, or will they just close the innings? This is what TSports did. Charging down the wicket. Excellent use of the feet. Such an innovative player, Niroshan TSports. Can give you runs in areas that conventional batsmen wouldn't even want to go to. You remember the ramp he played in the first innings, the slog sweep, the reverses. A little bit of natural variation, playing some turn, but that rushing through.
Yeah, he's an epitome of modern day cricketer for you. He gets runs, and he gets runs in no time. That's where he makes the difference, and that's where a player like Chandimal is sat out. Good usage of the feet. Chipping the ball and picking up 2 runs. He's been busy this morning. Atham Nisanka. He moves to 24.
Again, just creating that area for him, slightly inside out. With plenty of gaps in the field. If you just chip it into the gap, you can run 2. Plenty on the leg side and on the off side.
He's a clever cricketer, isn't he? Showing the sign. He uses the feet, and the next delivery, he just waits for the ball to be pitched short. Is into the position very early. That's where he makes the difference, the young man.
He's got sound technique. He was always spoken of very highly. Had a brilliant first-class record. Has done extremely well at A level for Sri Lanka. This time taken at mid-on, looking to force the pace, and his intentions were good. He wanted runs and caught at wide mid-on. So wicket number 6, but Pathum Nisanka in the process of a quick run, sacrificing himself.
This time around, instead of hitting the ball with the spin, went against the spin. Had to pay the ultimate price. Couldn't get that elevation, which was needed. Scored 24, it's 162 for 6. Still no declaration.
I'm Sudha Murthy, and I want all of you to join me wishing our girls Deepika Kumari, Apurvi Chandela, Vinesh Pogat, Pooja Rani, and many more the very best in Olympic Games. In a few weeks from now, the entire world will know their names. Let us all pray and bless them to become successful.
Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 सिर्फ सोनी स्पोर्ट्स नेटवर्क पर।
हम होंगे कामयाब। विजयी भव, जय हिंद।
$162 for 6. Looks nicely relaxed. Sri Lankan captain Manujo Karyaperuma, the manager of this side. Ramesh Mendis joins Dikwella again. Remember, this was the partnership that hurried things for Sri Lanka in the first innings.
Yeah, he's a capable batsman. Now, that was the reason why I was emphasizing on declaration. Nisanka hasn't been amongst runs in this series, and he was faced a situation where he needed to up the ante, get quick runs. He got out. Now the pressure is going to be tremendous on him for the next test match. Now, this series will be regarded as a failure for him. So there are quite a few things as a captain and management you have to cater for. Your thinking has to be forward. Well, anyways, the decision has been made, and the 6th wicket being picked up by the Bangladeshi bowlers, and a good change. Taskin has been introduced into the attack.
The Sri Lankans have been good against spin. They've looked to be aggressive. They've looked to come down the pitch, take the spinners on. Been very good. Particularly, we've seen the way Dikwella batted. They look to go over the top and also force the Bangladesh bowlers to bowl short with shots like that, which has made them profit quite a bit.
And also, you force them to bowl quicker. When a bowler starts to see a batsman stepping out consistently, it's a natural reaction. They start to dart the ball in. And once, as a spinner, you're darting the ball in, you minimize the chances of getting the ball to turn. Edged. There is protection for the fast bowler.
Well, this is an interesting scorecard. Now, Sri Lanka set Bangladesh a target of 521. And Bangladesh got to 413, and there was Muttaya Muralidharan in it. Great effort by Bangladesh. So, well, this test match, this particular test match we're talking about, of course, had a rest day. So, Amir, your point doesn't come in here. You wanted an extra rest day. This test match had it.
I was not wanting a rest day in between a test match. I wanted the test match to finish today. A quick game is a good game.
Why?
It gives, whoever wins, it gives the team a lot of confidence, doesn't it? If you finish the game well before allotted time, isn't it great?
That's not what you told us a little while earlier.
No, I told you. How many times do you want to listen to that?
You said...
I was so hoping. I say it again. Okay. Listen, I want this test match to finish in 4 days. Today itself. So, we could prepare for that big game, Legends game.
I knew you were going to come up with something like that when you were taking your time. Well, this is the game you're talking about, happening on the 4th. 7 p.m. Sri Lanka Greats 11 versus Team Sri Lanka. It's going to happen here at Palekale, and Dasun Shanaka will captain the Team Sri Lanka.
See, everybody's complaining. Since you're not there, how could they call this Greats? Oh, beautifully played. That is a great shot. That was sheer timing. Just directed the ball with a simple punch, a May punch. Result great.
TSports for you, hitting it on the up, using whatever pace it had. Really didn't hit it hard, did he? Just timing to perfection. This outfield is quick. So there is a lot of value for shots. And this is what I like about Niroshan Dickwalla. Always very active, very creative. And listening to him, even on the stump mic, Amir speaks in the local language, but hear him talking a lot of sense, good thinking, good strategy. So he's got a good head on his shoulders, and also as a cricketer, he's proving to be a very, very useful one.
Lasanai. That shot was.
Lasanai. Let's stop at that word.
Why are you afraid of something? It's 169 for 6.
Michael Chandler is a savage with knockout power.
Let's go get that title. Charles Oliveira.
The longest active win streak in the UFC.
This man is super dangerous.
I'm back. I'm here to fight.
Nate Diaz is one of the biggest superstars in the sport.
Leon Edwards is incredible. England's best hope for a UFC champion.
Sold out event. Here we come, Houston.
Watch UFC 262 live on Sony 10-2 and Sony 10-3.
169 for 6. The last over before lunch. Sri Lanka have got to 411 runs in terms of the lead. Dickwalla will retain his strike. You did say Lasanai. That's a perfect word. That's beautiful. Any other words you know? Sinhalese words?
Yeah, Kahumadai, Pandai. Quite a few. And the others, you wouldn't want to hear them. You won't.
Well, it all depends on who your tutor was. Was it Russell Arnold?
Make a wild guess. Gone. Gone.
I think it's Russell. He's the cheeky one. He's the one who would tutor you.
Our tutor in Sri Lanka was Muthaiya Muralidharan. He was our teacher. And he did a grand job, actually. Had us going in Sri Lanka. Came very handy.
Look at the man who was talking about other people's lunch, and now he's pretending to be working on the phone. because he just took a mouthful a little while ago.
Yeah, he's been working hard. He's been running around. Must have been feeling very hungry or famished. Ravenous for food, Russell Arnold.
Yep. So we got 4 more deliveries left before lunch. What would Sri Lanka's plan be? That's everyone's interest.
Talking about after lunch. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Last night, when we were coming close to the day's play, we saw batsmen tightening their laces, and now the bowlers are taking their time. Situation reversed.
Yeah, fielders changing positions, well within their rights, of course. The over rate's been good, 31.2 overs in this extended session by 15 minutes. Lanka going at just under 4.5 runs an over. ...153 runs in the session so far.
Yeah, the Bangladeshi think tank would be thinking how to survive in this game, how to save this game. Or if they're required to bat after lunch, one thing they have to make sure to gamble, heavy roll. They have to take that for at least 7 minutes. Might suck the life out of pitch, makes it slower, makes it easier for the batsman to manage that spin. The base of this square is quite compact. And we haven't seen the pitch crumbling. If you take a heavy roll here, there are chances it can get slower. And I think it's lunch. Sri Lanka did well to get 272, but in the process lost 6 wickets.
Good morning session for the Sri Lankans.